Welcome to Life with Colonel E. I'm Colonel E, and this is my favorite place to hang my Haven XL tree tent. Stick around, we're going to show you 3 easy ways to improve your experience with the Haven XL tree tent. Let's take a tour of my cargo trailer, my favorite place to hang my Haven XL tree tent. So there's my fireplace, 32-inch smart TV, DVD player, charging area, homemade camping toilet, closet, some storage, and there is my AC, an AC air circulation box, and we have E-track, so when we want to bring the 4-wheeler or the dirt bikes. Got my lounge chair, and most important, a Haven XL tree tent. So here's one scenario of the Haven XL tree tent. You can use a cot, preferably a 30-inch wide cot would be better. This one is not a 30-inch wide cot, but it's still able to be used in this this setup here. So to be able to do this, you're going to have some tarp poles. I don't know if trekking poles are going to be tall enough. So tarp poles are tall enough. These are tarp poles. And you just set them up. You want the hammock to be about 2 to 3 inches above the cot. That way when you get in, it'll settle down onto the cot and maintain tautness. You're not going to get complete taut on this ridge line. That's only when you're using it in the trees. But let's just take a look here. They still get all the same benefits as if you were hanging in the tree, as far as the bug mesh, the body of the hammock being lofted above you. So that is kind of cool. So most of you know by now that you can use this Haven XL tree tent on the ground as well. So basically you just do the same thing here, you just take out the cot. But it's kind of nice having the cot. That way you can just sit up, and then you're able to get right up out of the bed instead of being down on the ground. You can still do it on the ground, but it's just a little bit easier if you had a cot. The cot I would recommend, and I think the one that I'm going to get, is going to be the Teton Sports. It's I think it's the large, so it's 30 inches wide, 80 inches long, which is basically the dimensions of the pad on this Haven XL. So another way to improve your Haven XL tree tent is by adding some little bit of extra insulation to the underside. So instead of trying to add an underquilt, I had this at the house. This is Reflectix Insulation, and you can get it at Home Depot. You can get them in all different size rolls. I got a 10 by 24-inch wide by 10 foot, and I just cut it at about 77 inches for the length, and we just add this in right underneath the air pad. There we go, that was pretty easy. So I did have this out in about 20-degree weather, and the insulated pad was pretty decent. At about 30-35, it was really good. My backside was pretty warm, and I didn't really need any extra insulation on the bottom. But once it got below 30, I really started to feel some coolness. So once I added this Reflectix insulation pad underneath it, it just took all the cold out of it. So I think you could probably get down to 0 degrees with this setup right here. And for here in Central Texas, that's plenty. So another item that you can add to your Haven XL tree tent to make it better is the tree straps that it came with. Just set those to the side and pick you up a pair of Onewind Hammock brand tree straps. So there's no daisy chain loop. It has a buckle system, and it just feeds through, and then you can get the proper tightness that you need. So with the daisy chain loop tree straps, I was having a hard time getting the proper tightness for the XL, the Haven XL. And what I was having to do was, to compensate for it, was go higher up on the tree. But now I got the Onewind tree straps, and notice there's no daisy chain loops, just a continuous strap. And you have this buckle here, and then it just connects to your carabiner. So now you can just tighten that up to get the exact tightness that you need, and you can lower the foot end and then raise the head end, because you want your head up just a little bit higher than your feet. So while you're making your shopping list at Amazon for these tree straps, trust me, you're going to want to do this. This makes life so much easier with the Haven XL. So this whole video is how to make easier setup and the Haven XL to work better for you. And it works pretty good so far, but we're going to make it just a little bit better. So if you're going to add those tree straps to your shopping list, go ahead and double that order. Get you 2 sets. They're pretty cheap, because what you're going to do is you're going to add another set down underneath the Haven XL tree tent, and I'm going to show you why you want to do that. So while you're adding your Onewind tree straps, go ahead and double that order and get you a second pair. You're going to add it to the carabiner, the second set, and then the other buckle you're not going to need. You're just going to attach the end loop to the carabiner, and you're going to feed it underneath the Haven XL. And you want the buckle on your head end, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. Alright, so why do we want this second pair of tree straps running underneath the Haven XL? It's a good question. I experienced while camping in this Haven XL that you lay flat, very comfortable. After a while, the pad starts losing a little bit of air, just a little bit. And that little bit starts creating a crease along down the center, the length of the air pad. And your body starts falling into that little kind of a crevice. So what this tree strap does, it just takes that away. So now when we lay in it, we're going to have completely lay flat. And once you get in, you may have to reach down underneath and adjust the strap to the center. And once you get to the center, the pressure of your weight holds everything in place. Now then, the good thing, where I showed you the buckle at the head end, so now then, if you want to, you can put more tension, right? And raise the head end up. So I'm sure all of you who have been keeping your eye on the Haven XL or current owners of the Haven XL, you've seen the Safari that they just released, and it has the lounge strap. Well, this is kind of the same premise, except it's just a little bit different. So instead of just a lounge strap, we're doing basically lounge position, and we're creating the complete lay flat without we're eliminating that crease down the center. All right, so let's take a look at that next. Okay, before we jump in the hammock and show you how this system works, is I just thought that I needed to tell you about the second pair of straps. You need to loop them together on one end so you make one long strap. So you're going to have both of them connected together, and the end of it's going to come right here where your buckle system is at. Alright, so we got a little bit of slack on the strap underneath. That's kind of what we want, because when we go down, we're going to fill up that gap right here. Alright, so let's check it out. My shoes off. I'm just going to reach underneath. Make sure the strap is in the center. That looks pretty good. I need to get my head up a little higher, because once I lay down, my head is not elevated to where I like it. But I think we can use the strap that we added underneath to raise up the head end. So all we need to do for that is we just need to get out, make the adjustment, and jump back in. Okay, just note that when you make the head adjustment on the strap here, it will do the same towards the foot end, so your feet are going to kind of come up as well. That's the only drawback to raising your head up. But if you have your head elevated up already with the strap, which I should have went ahead a little bit higher, then you don't need to do this quite as much. But let's see what we can do here. We'll brought it up about 4 inches. All right, so again, we're just going to get in and make sure our strap is pretty centered. If you think you're going to fall out, just grab onto the ridge line. So it kind of went over to the right side a little bit. There we go. And you can make a little adjustments to the side. There we go. So we don't have that V crease down the center like we had, whether we got our head elevated or not. We keep it flat, like I said, about 2 to 3 inch gap in the center. That's about where you want it to keep the center from making that V shape down the length of the hammock. But right now, we got our head elevated up quite a bit, and the feet kind of go up. It's like being in a lounge chair or a recliner almost. Pretty cool. So if you like the porch mode, that's what I call this configuration here, where you take the tarp and you just stake it out with some tarp poles. These particular tarp poles are green elephant. So this is a pretty cool configuration with the Haven XL tree tent. That you can do is you can take the tarp and just pull it out, and if you have some trekking poles will work too, but I like tarp poles because they go up a little bit higher and you can get it pretty tight. And it's pretty nice. It's adds additional shading, and then if it is raining somewhat, it gives you kind of a dry place to get in and out of the hammock.